Hello, all. It is Survivor South Africa, Season 9, Episode 17. Last time we had Meryl getting voted out while having a advantage in her pocket that can save her life and using another advantage that could have saved her life in the game on someone else that was already safe in her mind to remove that person from being able to vote, even though everyone else was already targeting her. It was an incredibly stupid move by an incredibly smart player, and it blew my mind. So she went home, voted out unanimously. We come to this episode, and Killarney, for some reason, believes that she was the one that orchestrated the move to get rid of Meryl. Even though everyone agreed to get rid of Meryl before even talking to her, and she was literally the last one to come in on board to get rid of Meryl. She believes that she orchestrated this move and that everyone else is stealing her thunder. It was an incredible display of delusion. But I can see how that can happen to a person, because she talked about some of the issues that she had in this episode, where her mother passed away recently, and within a month, her partner, I don't know if it was a guy or a girl, also passed away. So she lost two people close to her, and she was a little bit kind of wanted to, self-delete in a sense. And then she got on the show and she felt like, living again. So I can see why she's a little bit disconnected with reality, but it doesn't help in this game, and she needs to get her stuff together. This is not the environment for her. Right? So she believes she did something. Everybody else is excited that Meryl is gone. If I was Dino, I wouldn't be excited, because Dino is the next biggest threat. And the only one other than him that's a big threat to everyone else is Tajan, only because of the way he competed in the individual immunity challenges so far. But Dino is the biggest threat for everyone else. And then he just got rid of someone else that was a bigger threat than him. So it's not looking good for him. But he did make a good move in getting Marion on his side. So that's a person he can use. And with Marion, he also got Shane, which is another person he can use. But Shane also kind of wants to get rid of Dino. The only thing keeping Shane from doing that is Marion. So Dino's making good moves so far. The problem is a lot of people are targeting him at the moment, right? So everyone is having their own plans. We get to the reward challenge, and it comes with a family visit, which is probably going to be by Zoom or whatever it is. And it is a sort of balancing puzzle competition, all right, where I'll show you an image of it. And it's a reward challenge, not immunity. So it looks like this. They have to walk through these little wooden things there, grails right there, and then come over here and assemble the puzzle, which is they're gonna spell out return of the outcast. That's what they have to spell. Return on the top, off the, and then outcast at the bottom. They have to spell that out one block at a time, and they're going to be moved. And if they bump into this at any point, it can knock over all their pieces, and they would have to start over. So that's basically the challenge. And I think right away, I don't think anyone even came close. Phil was able to take this. He won it hands down. I'll show you an image. The only one close to him was Tajan, but Tajan knocked down his pieces, trying to move too fast. And you see Phil here coming in to put the last piece, which is the S at the end there. And that's why he's able to win. So he won the reward, and the reward was he gets food and a visit to see his loved ones. But he can, and an advantage in the individual immunity competition. But he can give up the food and the advantage to take 2 other people with him to also see their family. And everyone pretty much told him, go ahead, take the advantage, take the food. We don't, you know what I mean? So in solidarity, kind of, they just kind of gave him the go ahead to do it. He cried a little bit. He was like, oh, we were all talking about our families and all this stuff. But in the end, he chose to take the reward and the advantage and the food, the advantage, and the family visit. But then Tajan used the outpassed advantage that he got from Meryl, that she gave him to secure his vote from last tribal. He used it to gain the reward and all the advantages that come along with it. So he got the food, he got the family visit, and he got the advantage in the next immunity challenge. It was well played on his part. Good on him to doing it, because I think this, especially if someone else is going to get an advantage in the next competition, and he always comes in second a little bit, he wants that advantage too. So good on him for doing it. All right, so he got everything. They gone to get the meal and everything, and Phil decided to talk to Tajan about them working together and all this stuff. And Tajan pretty much just told him he has 4 other people that he wants to get out before Phil. So at least until the final 3 or something like that, where he wants himself, Phil, and Felix at the end. That's what he says. So he wants 4 other people gone. And I believe one of those 4 people is going to be Dino. And Phil didn't say it, but Phil also wants to get rid of Dino. Felix also wants to get rid of Dino because Dino is their biggest competition. So everyone wants to get rid of Dino except for Marion, I believe. Marion's the only one that doesn't want to get rid of Dino. So they're making plans right now. They're not stating anything explicitly. Tajan didn't even say who the 4 names was going to be. But they're making plans to kind of work together a little bit, or at least not target each other. All right. Dino is talking to Marion, and they're talking about what happens if Tajan wins the next 2 immunities. He wins them back to back. What are they going to do? What's the worst case scenario? And they're talking about they don't want to take a goat in a goat, meaning a person that just gets carried along, which is either Shane or Killarney. Those 2 people are the people someone is going to take towards the end, and they know they can beat them at the end and get more votes than them. So they're worried about those 2. All right. Felix, he solidified a little alliance with Shane, and I think he also talked to Tajan. So he had something going with Shane and then Tajan. His biggest concern, though, is Marion. And Marion wants to get rid of Felix because Felix is close with Phil and Dino, and she wants to work with both Phil and Dino. So she wants to get rid of Felix because he can get in between that. Felix wants to get rid of Marion because he wants to secure Shane, and also he wants to take away a number from Dino because he wants to get rid of Dino. All right. So I think that was all the plans there. All right. Their families, a lot of strategy talk. So we get to the individual immunity challenge, and it is an endurance comp. All right. Looks like this. All right. So basically, they're going to be standing on their tippy toes holding this block up and keeping it from falling, and it's going to be wedged at the top there and between their head and the top there. So they have to keep on their tippy toes. If they release the pressure at any point, that block can fall, and then they'll be out. All right. The first one to drop, the advantage that was given was that Tajan and Phil get to start 5 minutes after everyone. So you can see them sitting down there. They're waiting their 5 minutes before they can start. And the first one to drop in this competition was Marion. Marion lost, she dropped first, everyone else hanging there. Then the 5 minutes elapsed, and then these two got up there. And the next person to drop was Tajan. Tajan has a bald head, an uneven surface, and the block was immediately tilted as soon as it sat on his head, and he didn't even notice, thing fell off. All right, so he's the second person to drop. The advantage that Phil had was that he has hair on the top of his head, so the block can stand on a more even surface, and it doesn't tilt sideways while he's wedging it. Because Tajan didn't even notice the block was dropping. Like, it immediately started tilting. And still he put it on his head, freaking tilted to the side, and it was just hanging on by an edge at the top, freaking fell as soon as he turned his head, because he was turning his head a lot. All right, so it fell. He was disappointed in himself. All right, so those two was first to drop. The next to drop after that, I believe, was Shane, and then Killarney, and then it came down between Felix, Dino, and Phil, and then Dino dropped, and then became Phil and Felix, the last two up there, and that is where the episode ends, on a cliffhanger. Didn't get to see who won, but it was looking like Phil was going to win because Felix was struggling. So until next time, and from the preview of the next episode, it seems like there's going to be an idol hunt as well. So should be exciting. Till next time.